What is up, heroes? This is Midnight Zero, and welcome back to Let's Play Corpse Party Book of Shadows. In the last episode, we discovered a room that might even be more dangerous, more foreboding than the infirmary itself, the Death Room. I think that's what it's called. And in this episode, we're gonna actually explore it. We took a look around this entire place, just pretty big. We didn't find a lot more than corpses and a lot of children's voices singing at us, but here we are, outside the Death Room, which is now magically unlocked, so let's head on in. What awaits us in the Death Room?
薄暗い洞窟の中でも明かりの全くない真っ暗闇の部屋を見つけた。
I didn't think this place could get any darker, but this room proved me wrong. It was completely and utterly devoid of all light.
中でピチャピチャ水滴が落ちて反響する音を聞く限りそれほど広い感じじゃない。
Ooh. My only indication as to its size was the bloop sound of dripping water from somewhere inside, and based on the echo, it didn't seem too big.
入りたくないけどもしかしたらここにナホちゃんがいるかもしれない。
I was perfectly content to leave it at that, honestly, but I couldn't, because I knew Naho might have been in there, seized with fear and panic.
あの子いつもクールだけどさっきの様子だとナホちゃんも怖がっているのかも。
She usually kept a cool head.
震えているのかも。
Sure, but I'd just seen what she looked like when she didn't, and it worried the heck out of me. Sorry, still struggling with a cold, as I seem to say at the beginning of every episode, so I had to know. Now, what's interesting is that on my end, I would think, oh man, it is so dark in here, if anyone is in here, if I open the door and let any amount of light in, it's gonna shine like a beacon in this room, right?
ナホちゃん
Naho-chan? Probably a corpse.
返事はなかった。水の落ちる音がうるさくて人のいる気配は判別できない。
Oh, it sounded like she was like shaking a body or something like that. No response. Not that I heard anyway. That dripping wasn't very loud, but it echoed enough that it could conceivably obscure the sound of a person's voice.
部屋の外の淡い光が入るから出口は中からでもよく見える。
As long as I kept the door to this room open, though, the pale light of the corridor would filter in, and I'd be able to see the exit.
出られずにパニックになることはないと思って私は部屋の中まで入ってみることにした。
It may not have illuminated much, but at least I'd be able to find my way out in a pinch. So, I swallowed my fear and walked into the darkness.
やだ
Ugh, gross! What'd she find?
何この匂い。
What's that smell? Oh no. We probably know what this smell is, guys.
なんか腐ってる。
It stinks to high heaven. Is something rotting in here? Ugh. Probably, if I had to guess.
足にかかっちゃったよ。
If only she knew it was called the Death Room. Ew, what's spilled? It's all over my leg. Oh man. Without thinking, I smacked my hand against my leg as if trying to knock off whatever was stuck to it, and then just inevitably got on your hand.
何これ。
Oh, what is this?
息ができ
Someone's
ないほどの
guts or something like that.
鉄みたいな匂い。
Hmm?
これ血の匂い。まさか。
The metallic smell was so thick that I almost couldn't breathe. Was it blood? Did it spray blood onto my hand? No, it couldn't be.
なんだか太ももがかゆい。思わず指でかいてしまった。
Great, just covering yourself in blood are you now? I got a sudden itch on my thigh, so I impulsively reached down and scratched it. Speaking of which, if any of you guys have seen my Danganronpa 2 Let's Plays, or most of my other series, you'll know that there are certain words that I feel very strongly about. One of them is the word ruckus, or the words ruckus, rather, and the other one is the word ambivalent. Another pair of words that I feel very strongly about is itch and scratch, and how often they are incorrectly used. I absolutely hate it when people say, oh, I'm itching an itch, or like I'm itching as they're actually scratching an itch that they have. You can ask Lizzie. You can ask Lizzie.
真っ暗でわからないけど、かいた指の腹にお米のような丸い小さな粒がついている。
And in doing so, a small rice-sized bead stuck to the ball of my finger. But in this all-consuming darkness, I had no way to tell what it was. What do we think a rice-sized bead would be?
指でこね回すとペタペタして本当にお米のようだ。
I have this strange feeling it's not rice. It felt an awful lot like a grain of rice, though. Even smushing and smearing like one when I needed it between my thumb and forefinger.
何これ皮膚太もものやだ
What is this thing? Skin? From my thigh? Crap, I hope not. I hope not for you as well. Hey! The lights come on just so we can be entertained by the sight, which doesn't seem to be doing so hot. Looks like this was definitely a death room. Yeah, torture room of some sort. Yikes. Huh? The lights.
やだ何この部屋
Oh god, what is this place?
匂いが強烈なわけだ部屋の四方の壁という壁床という床に血しぶきのようなものが付着している
The source of the horrible smell was suddenly clear. The room was absolutely drenched. From wall to wall, what is that noise? And ceiling to floor with blood and human viscera.
どれだけたく
It's
さんの
supposed to be some sort of sound
血液が
effect? Or is that something
こ
like
れだけの範囲
actually in the
を
room?
塞ぐことができるのか
How many gallons of blood must there have been to coat this entire room?
しかも乾ききっていないつい最近こ
Yikes.
の部屋は使われている
I can't take this sound effect seriously. And the worst part was, none of it was dry. It was all wet. It was all fresh.
そこら中に得体の知れない肉片や骨っぽいものが転がっている一体どんな恐ろしいことが行われている部屋なのだろう
There were indistinguishable chunks of flesh and bone everywhere. Just what kinds of twisted things was this room being used for?
なんか
Huh?
さっきから太ももがかゆいまた指で書いてから私はふと自分の足を見た
Oh no, it's gonna be like bugs or something.
全身の血が凍った
Oh no, it's gonna be like... Oh my god, it's so gonna be like maggots or something like that. I scratched my itching thigh again with my finger. Then looked down at my legs, and all at once my blood ran cold. Are they gonna show a picture of it?
かゆくて無意識に書いていた私の足に
Yup.
白い小さな虫がびっしりとついていた
Yup. That is absolutely gross. That is so gross. I'm not super squeamish. And I'm definitely not a fan of bugs, but I can hold it together. But the thought of like bugs burrowing into my legs or something like, oh, that gets to me. A swarm of little white bugs was wriggling around on both my legs.
指の腹にも潰れて2匹スカートにもソックスの上にも靴と足の隙間にも
Yikes. So all these maggots must be from all of the remains and such, I'd imagine. That's what I'd squished between my fingers, but there were many, many more. And they were also on my skirt, on my socks, even inside my shoes.
パニックを起こして私は虫がいっぱいついている靴を脱いで振りはたいた
Understandably so. I fell into a state of total panic. I threw off my shoes and began frantically brushing myself off with my arms.
スカートの裾を掴んでソックスの端をつまんでバタバタはたいて虫を飛ばした
I grabbed them with my skirt and the collars of my socks and shook the heck out of them, trying to knock as many bugs off my body as I possibly could. First thing you're going to do is probably get out of the room. Oh no, did she just like step into a bucket of
ソックスの片手で
blood?
赤く濁った水たまりに踏み込んでしまったまだ真っ
Yikes.
白になる
Stumbling around, I accidentally planted the heel of my sock into a murky puddle of red liquid. My mind went blank with disgust. Yeah, you just gotta get out of this room. That's the first thing you should do. Get out of the room, and then you can, well, relatively safely, or at least not having to worry about dirtying your clothes with a bunch of other people's blood, remove items and remove the bugs from them, and then proceed to put them back
気
on.
持ち悪い気持ち
Hopefully.
悪い
This is Corpse Party we're
気持
talking
ち
about.
悪い
Gross, 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 gross! Oh no. Oh no, Sayaka's gonna crack. I can't take this anymore. Yeah, Sayaka doesn't seem to be doing so hot. I'm surprised there isn't a panty shot here. This is Corpse Party we're talking about, but regardless, it's pretty cool art. But wait, why is she looking at the ground so intensely? Is she gonna recognize the body or something?
ここはきっと屠殺場だ。
Just a slaughterhouse.
を解体して食肉にする場所だ。
Calm down, Sayaka. This was just a slaughterhouse. This was just a place where livestock was chopped up into meat.
だから自然なんだ。この部屋の存在は別に不自然じゃない。
I don't know about that, Sayaka. I don't know about that.
あの大きな骨の塊は動物のもの。
It was perfectly natural. There was nothing unusual about this room at all. The blood, the chunks of flesh and bone, probably all just from animals, and I'm sure the blood all over the place. It's done in such a chaotic, sporadic way. Totally normal. Oh, so we can investigate this place. All right, well, let's take a look. I'm trying to see if there's any pattern to this blood on the wall or on the ceiling. Doesn't seem so immediately. Let's take a look at these buckets over here.
部屋の至るところに汚れたバケツが置いてある。
I like that they're reusing this art at least. Filthy buckets littered the room.
骸骨のようなものがたくさん刺さっているもの。ブルブルした黄色や白い実のついた
Yikes.
黒い肉の塊が詰め込まれたもの。
Each one was stuffed with reddish black globs of meat and quivering yellow and white liquid. And most of them femur-like bones adorned the surface.
直視できないそれらに混じって
But one of them seemed to be a far more horrid stew than the others.
私は見つけてしまった。人間の腕が
Oh man.
刺さっているバケツ。
Oh, that's gross. And that's because one of them was full of arms, human arms, several of them, jutting out above the bucket lip, and practically waving at passers-by. Totally livestock, Sayaka.
人は悲鳴を上げるときは意志の力を必要としないんだ。
Screams are strange beasts, because they basically override all sense of logic and reason within a person's mind.
ごく自然に驚くほどオートマチックに私の体の奥からお腹の底から悲鳴が絞り出されてきた。
Quite naturally, quite automatically in my shock, a scream forced its way out from inside my body, from the very pit of my stomach. I think that's an interesting note, that it kind of overrides all reason, all logic and such, because it's easy to sit here and be like, why are you screaming? You're just letting know whoever did this that you were there, right?
全身の感覚が針の
Arguably making it easier for them to accomplish what they just did
部屋の外の
to
通
you.
路からかすかに誰かの足音が聞こえたような気がした。
My senses had become razor sharp. I could faintly hear footsteps approaching from the hall outside the room.
胃がキュンと縮んで出していた悲鳴が途中で止まる。
My stomach tightened, stopping the next scream in my throat.
確かだった。
What
部屋の
what
外
what is it?
何者かが近づいてきている。
Oh no.
足音からしてナホちゃんじゃない。
I was sure of it. In the corridor just outside this room, someone or something was coming this way. And judging by sound, it sure wasn't Naho. Ooh. Where's she gonna hide? Under the table? In the wardrobe?
無意識に情けない声が漏れ出して
Or in the
私は慌てて口を塞いだ。
armoire? Another scream threatened to slip out. I quickly stifled it. The last thing I needed was to give away my position, as if she hasn't already.
どうしよう。近い。
Whoever this was getting closer and closer. I had to act. Are we gonna be able to decide now? Ooh, I'm excited. I'm excited.
外に逃げ出すと足音の主に見つかってしまう。隠れてやり過ごすしかないよ。
Yikes. The hallway outside was just a straight shot, so escaping the room without being seen wasn't an option. Hiding was my only hope. Just hide behind the podium. That worked out really well last time. But hiding where? Inside the cabinet or under the blood-soaked table? I knew it! I knew it was going to come down to this. I think, based on the first game, under the blood-soaked table is what's better off. I remember Taguchi hid in the cabinet, and that didn't really turn out so hot for him, while we were hiding underneath the blood-soaked table and were able to watch Seiko's body, sadly, dragged past us, but without problem. So I think I'm going to go under the blood-soaked
大
table.
丈夫かな。でも他に隠れる場所もないし。
Well, I'm sure we chose the right one, guys. Sayaka seems to have a lot of confidence in us. Would I really be okay under the table? Not the best choice, but I guess there really weren't too many other options.
こういう時は迷っちゃダメだよね。直感で動こう。
Either way, I couldn't afford to hesitate at a time like this. I had to follow my instincts. There's a lot of truth to that, right? There's, there's a lot to be gained from thinking about a decision, but there's also a lot to be gained from from not dilly-dallying, right? From actually having time to reap the benefits of that decision. Yep, this looks very familiar. Whoa, the audio here. The audio is done so well. It sounds like we're actually from Sayaka's perspective. I don't know if that's actually conveying through YouTube or not, but in my headphones at least, it sounds really, really cool.
背の低い机の下に身を潜め、足音が部屋を通り過ぎてくれることを祈る。
Fortunately, the table was pretty low to the ground, so I did have some cover there. Nonetheless, I prayed for the footsteps to pass by without coming in.
だけどよくよく考えると、
But of course, right? Like, there's no way. This is Corpse Party we're talking
足音
about.
の主ならこの部屋に用があるってことになる。
But then the person making those footsteps was probably the same person who turned on the light in here. Oh, really? How'd they do that from afar? So I didn't honestly hold out much hope.
悪い方に考えると、どんどん頭の中が真っ黒になってゆく。
Rapidly, my thoughts grew darker. Worst case scenario began flashing through my mind, one after another.
別の生き物のように勝手にカチカチと動く口と、引きつけを起こしたように震える肩を必死に掴んで押さえながら。
I grasped my quivering mouth and violently shaking shoulders. Oh, I was not reading that correctly. I grasped my quivering mouth and violently shaking shoulders in a vain attempt to calm myself down.
私は必死で、漏れそうになる声を飲み込んでいた。
I clenched my eyes shut and willed myself to swallow any sounds that threatened to leak out.
ちゃん、なおちゃん、助けて。
Naho-chan, Naho, please save me. He sounds like a real nice guy. Definitely want to be friends with this guy. Huh? What was that? What was happening? Don't tell me he's found us. No. He's found someone else. Is that Naho? Obviously, whoever is on the table now is not in for a very bright future.
女の子の苦しげなうめき声。机の上に、今誰かが投げ落とされた。
Yeah. That was not something I expected. That was the sound of a girl in pain. The man had apparently dropped someone on the table, and she was either injured or being injured. What do we do? Do we know this girl's voice? It hurts, it hurts, it hurts.
尋常じゃない悲鳴が聞こえる。机の板を挟んで、すぐ上で。私は恐怖で体がすくんで動けなくなった。
I could hear an unearthly scream from the other side of the table above me. My body became rigid. What do we do? What can we do? Right? Is there anything we can do to save this girl, let alone ourselves? This man doesn't seem to, really be very, I don't know, all there. Hmm?
これを取りに来たら見つかる。
I just thought it was really funny. Crap, if he bent down to pick that up, he'd see me for sure. How funny would it be? I can totally see it happening in some sort of like horror parody or horror spoof, like something like Scooby-Doo, where they're hiding underneath the table and, you know, like the villain like drops something on the ground. So like naturally, if they were to bend down, they would probably see the person hiding under the table. So what do? They pick it up and hand it to them so they don't have to bend down or anything like that. And then they'd be like the monster or like whatever would probably like, oh, like thanks, and then like be like about to like cut the person on the table and then think, huh? And then all of a sudden like look down and then like, you know, Shaggy and Scooby are like, hey, and like wave, and then just like bolt out or something like that. I can totally see a scene like that happening. I really shouldn't be thinking of such a funny scene or such like a cheery scene per se in such a dire situation, but I couldn't help it. Is this gonna be our indication that is he gonna bend down and we're basically gonna be screwed? Wait, Sayaka, no! No! That is not the move! No, you can't scream like that, Sayaka!
それは異様なものだった
He was a very strange, horrifying creature.
というよりはなんだかよくわからないものゾッとするようなものが入ってきたような驚愕とショック
He seemed not quite human, but not really anything else either. And whatever he was, I was scared to death of him. I'm sure that scream is gonna really help you out in the long run, Sayaka.
いや確かに人の姿だけど現実離れした顔も異常に大きな体も私の想像をはるかに超えて恐ろしかった
On second thought, maybe he was human. He just had a grotesque face and an abnormally large body. Not to mention a zombie-like disposition. He was horrifying. Are we gonna get a picture? I hope so. We probably will. This is Corpse Party.
怖い怖い
I feared as much for my life as any human being can. I was frightened, afraid, terrified. There's no word strong enough. Oh no. Let me go. I think, guys, you know, I'm not gonna claim to be Sherlock or anything like that, but I'm thinking we're headed towards the wrong end here.
足当てをバタつかせて必死に暴れるでも男の腕の力は強くびくともしない
I was flailing my arms and legs and doing everything I possibly could to break free from his grip. But this man was strong as an ox. He wasn't letting go. Is Naho gonna save us,
離
maybe?
れた喉ももし男が
This
力を
other girl certainly isn't.
即座に握りつぶされそうな予感があった
I was fairly certain he could crush my throat with his bare hands if he wanted to. Oh. Somebody, anybody, no, Mom! What's going on now? Well, can we get a little progress report, Sayaka? You're just like groaning at each other.
男は掴んでいた私の首ごと体を引っ張り
Yikes.
部屋の中央に投げ出した
The man drew me up by my neck and violently threw me toward the center of the room.
喉に集中しているいろんな繊維質がクリッと音を立てて擦れ合う
Yikes. It was almost as if he were proving my hypothesis. The tissue and bones in my throat scraped together with a sickening, unnatural
息
sound.
が詰まって呼吸する穴も潰れて意識が飛びそうになった
I gasped for air. My trachea was in pieces. I could feel my consciousness drifting away.
"規制を上げたかと思うと男はそのまま部屋の出口へ走り出した
Huh? I wasn't sure why, but he then suddenly let out a blood-curdling moan and made a beeline toward the room's only exit. Did Sachiko appear? If this is like the same, the same man it was from the first game, he's not very happy to be around Sachiko.
そして通路に飛び出し振り返ると出口の重い鉄扉に手をかけた
As he ran out, he turned around and slammed his hand into the heavy iron door, and it began slowly lurching closed. Hopefully we're not locked in here. That would be less than ideal. Where's the other girl? Well, wait!
閉じ込められる瞬間的にそう思った慌てて出口へ駆け出す私に
I was locked in. I knew it right away. I ran toward the door as best as I could manage, but I already knew I wouldn't be able to get it open again. Wait, please help me! Yeah, where is this other girl?
ひっくり返された机の表側に器具で両手首を固定された女の子が囚われていた
Yikes. The girl I'd heard screaming was strapped onto the surface of the now overturned table, dangling helplessly. Please help! Huh? God, no, open! Jeez, this doesn't seem to be doing so hot. Maybe we had to hide in the cabinet so we could try and bolt out when we had the chance? And of course, now the lights go out. That's gonna really help out with the whole sanity thing. Did we get a wrong end?
何日経っただろう。
I feel like we've got to be at a wrong end. I feel like we've got to be at a wrong end. Days passed. I couldn't even begin to guess how many.
血の匂いの充満した真っ暗な部屋に再
Yikes.
び明かりがつくことはなかった。
No light ever returned to that blood-drenched, pitch-black room.
一緒にいた女の子もずいぶん前から何も喋らなくなった。
And the girl I was trapped with hadn't said a word for a long time.
匂いも寒さも痛みも感じない。
I knew it smelled in here. I knew it was cold and that I was in pain, but I couldn't sense any of it anymore.
私生きてるのかな、死んでるのかな。
Was I alive? Was I dead? Schrodinger's Sayaka? You don't know if Sayaka's alive or dead until you open the room.
誰かここから出して。
I wasn't sure it even mattered. I just wanted to leave that room. Somebody, please, let me out. Wow, that... Again, I think the audio might be one of the top or big aspects of this, but... Okay, there's the wrong end. I mean, like, let me know what you guys think about it. Like, which would you guys have, like, chosen? Would you have chosen the cabinet or the, or under the table? I guess when it comes to these decisions and such, I should really ask you guys at the time to comment what you would pick at that moment. Because obviously you can look back and be like, oh yeah, I would have totally picked the cabinet because, you know, but I don't think I was being irrational or like unreasonable by any means for picking the table given the first game. One might also say that given it worked out in the first game and knowing that Corpse Party would know that its players would think that would actually make that the wrong end, that's possible too, but that's just kind of like how far do you go with rock, paper, scissors, right? Like... that sort of deal. And I'm not putting too much weight on it too. It was fun. It was cool. It's a cool wrong end. I'm looking forward to getting to explore a little bit more. But regardless, that of course is going to be in the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you guys think. It's been a while since we got a wrong end, now that I think about it. So yeah, we'll hide in the cabinet next time and hopefully get to explore a bit more. But until then, this has been Night Zero, and this mission is complete.